Most people wander through life hoping someone will notice them, respect them, or follow them. That's weakness disguised as patience. Influence doesn't wait for permission. It's carved, strategically, relentlessly, into the minds of others. Today, I'm going to hand you 10 strategic moves rooted in Machiavellian psychology that will make you dangerous to ignore. Moves that turn you from background noise into the signal everyone listens to. But understand this, these aren't tricks for the weak. They're tools for the calculating, the disciplined, the ones willing to sharpen themselves into a weapon. If you're still here, it means you want that weapon. And once you take it, there's no going back. Comment this right now to seal your intent. I choose precision over noise. Now, let's begin. Number 1. Cultivate a strong first impression. The first seconds decide the war before the first shot is fired. You walk into a room. People don't know your name, your history, or your worth yet, but their eyes scan you like a battlefield. And here's the truth. They've already decided whether to respect you, fear you, or dismiss you before you open your mouth. That's why first impressions are not decoration. They are the opening strike. A strong first impression is the front-loaded advantage every power player uses. Your posture, your pace, your eye contact, they speak louder than your voice ever will. The man who slouches is signaling submission. The man who avoids eye contact is broadcasting uncertainty. The man who fidgets is silently begging for approval. None of these men are dangerous. Dangerous men command the air around them. They don't rush to fill silence. They let silence do the heavy lifting. They take space without apology. They move as if every step is intentional. And when they finally speak, it's with the calm precision of someone who doesn't need to prove himself. Your clothing is not about trends. It's about alignment. It should tell people that you are deliberate. Grooming isn't vanity. It's discipline in visible form. Even your scent should be a statement. Subtle, memorable, unshakable. Think of your first impression as an unspoken contract, a psychological imprint you stamp on everyone you meet. Once it's set, it's hard for them to rewrite. That's why you decide what that imprint is before you even walk in. From this moment on, you never just show up. You arrive like a calculated event. You make them think, "Who is that?" long before you've said a single word, because by the time you speak, you've already won. Comment this to brand it into your mind. I own the first seconds. Number 2, control the pace of interaction. Most people live like background noise, reacting to the tempo of others, running at the speed they're told, answering questions the second they're asked. That's the life of a pawn. Pawns move when someone else's hand pushes them. You want influence? Then you control the pace, always. When you speak, you decide when the conversation starts and when it ends. When you walk into a room, you don't rush. You make the room adjust to you. A pause isn't silence, it's a leash. And the longer you hold it, the tighter their attention coils around you. In business, in negotiations, even in personal relationships, the man who dictates the tempo dictates the outcome. Fast talkers expose themselves. Slow movers unsettle the fast ones. And in that imbalance, you own the advantage. Never let urgency be forced on you. Time is a currency, and you spend it like a king. On your schedule, not theirs. This is your first move toward untouchable influence. Control the pace of interaction. You're no longer a participant in someone else's rhythm. You set the beat. Comment this right now to make it real. I set the pace, always. Number 3, ask strategic questions. The most dangerous men don't give answers. They ask the right questions. Power isn't just in knowing. It's in making others give you what they know. And the cleanest way to take information without resistance is to make them hand it over willingly. Strategic questions are the scalpel of influence, precise, silent, deadly. Most people fire questions like a child fires a toy gun, fast, loud, and pointless. They get scraps because they don't understand the game. You will learn to ask questions like a surgeon cuts flesh, deliberate, minimal, and with intent. A strategic question is never random. It's designed to uncover motives, expose weaknesses, and reveal the hidden map of someone's mind. You don't ask, "What do you do?" You ask, "What's the biggest challenge you're facing right now?" You don't ask, "How's your day?" You ask, "What's been taking most of your focus lately?" Why? Because generic questions get generic answers. Precision questions get personal truths. And when people tell you their truths, they give you power over them. Even the tone matters. Ask calmly, without pressure, and let the silence after the question stretch. People hate silence. They rush to fill it. And in their rush, they reveal far more than they planned. Remember this: every answer you get should feed your advantage. If it doesn't, you're wasting breath. The goal is twofold: gather intelligence and plant seeds. Sometimes a question isn't about the answer. It's about making them think about something you want in their head. A single, well-timed question can make them doubt an ally, reconsider a decision, or see you as an authority. When done right, you never look like you're digging. You look curious, harmless, interested, but inside, you're mapping their entire terrain. And once you have the map, you own the territory. From now on, you don't just talk, you mine, you extract, you control the conversation by guiding it. Comment this now to claim it. I ask to control. Number 4, display emotional intelligence. You can't control the board if you can't read the players. Power isn't just cold logic. It's knowing when to be the knife and when to be the hand that heals. This is where most men fail. They think showing emotion is weakness. They confuse having emotions with being controlled by them. The truth? Emotional intelligence is one of the most Machiavellian weapons you can carry. It's the art of reading the room like a seasoned predator. You watch, you measure, you mirror. Every facial twitch, every change in tone, every shift in posture is data. If you can read it, you can control it. When someone is tense, you don't push, you ease. When someone is euphoric, you align and ride that energy to steer them where you want them to go. You adapt like water, fitting into the emotional container they're in, while never losing your own form. People trust those who understand them, not those who agree with them, not those who flatter them, those who make them feel seen. That's why you acknowledge their perspective without necessarily accepting it. I understand why you'd feel that way. This single line disarms defenses faster than any logical argument. You're not fighting their feelings. You're validating them enough to keep them open. The Machiavellian advantage comes in the balance. You appear empathetic, but you are always calculating. You're not feeling what they feel. You're watching how they feel, using it to predict their next move. Here's the deeper truth. When you mirror someone's emotions subtly, their subconscious begins to see you as like them. Humans are wired to trust the familiar. That's why emotional intelligence isn't about being soft. It's about camouflaging your influence so it can move undetected. And yet, you must never lose your center. If their anger becomes your anger, you're no longer the one in control. If their excitement makes you reckless, you've been pulled into their frame. You remain the calm eye in the storm, observing, guiding, nudging. Understand this: emotional intelligence is not kindness. It is a control mechanism. It is the ability to step into someone's emotional space without surrendering your own. In the wrong hands, it's manipulation. In yours, it's a precision instrument. From this point forward, every interaction is a reading exercise. Study faces, study voices, study the invisible undercurrent of the room, because the man who can read the board will always make the winning move. Comment this now if you understand. I see more than they think. Number 5, disarm with strategic kindness. The deadliest blade is the one they never saw coming. When people think of dominance, they picture force, Sharp words, intimidation, confrontation. But in Machiavellian psychology, there is a quieter, deadlier approach. The hand that feeds before it strikes. Strategic kindness. You don't walk into every situation with your teeth bared. You enter with a smile, not because you care, but because it's a door key. People are wired to lower their guard around those who treat them well. This isn't morality, this is biology. A small, well-placed kindness makes you look harmless. It turns you into a safe presence. They start talking more. They reveal more. They stop protecting themselves. Because you've convinced them there's nothing to protect against. The amateur uses kindness constantly and wastes it on everyone. The strategist uses it selectively. Like a sniper's bullet, you deploy it only when it opens a path you need. A favor here, a compliment there. The gesture isn't random, it's a calculated investment. Kindness in this form is a trap. They begin to believe you're different, that you have no agenda, that you're on their side. And the moment they truly believe this, you've already won half the battle. Because now, when you finally make your move, they won't see it as an attack. They'll see it as inevitability. Even in conflict, strategic kindness works. A calm, respectful tone when others expect anger destabilizes them. It forces them to question their own aggression. While they're wrestling with that confusion, you're already positioning yourself for the next play. But make no mistake, this isn't about being nice. It's about being unreadable. Sometimes, the most intimidating man in the room is the one who seems to have no reason to harm you, yet could at any moment without warning. Your kindness should never be free. It should always serve your narrative, your positioning, your influence. Every smile, every helpful gesture, every small show of empathy should either buy you loyalty or lull someone into vulnerability. This is how kings have sat at enemy tables and left with the enemy's allegiance. It's how negotiators close impossible deals. It's how the most feared men in history made their opponents shake their hands first and regret it later. From now on, your kindness is no longer charity. It's bait. Number 6, learn the weakness of every man. Every fortress has a crack. Find it, and the war is already over. No matter how strong a man appears, no matter how much armor he wears, there is always a point of fracture. Always. That point might be pride, it might be greed, it might be fear, vanity, loyalty, guilt, or a hidden hunger he doesn't admit even to himself. But it exists. And if you're going to become untouchable, you need to know how to find it. The weak go after obvious flaws, the drunk's bottle, the gambler's cards, the liar's stories. The strong go deeper. They look for the pressure points beneath the surface, the needs so powerful they can bend the will of even the most disciplined man. Finding those weaknesses requires patience. You don't interrogate, you observe. You let people talk. You notice what makes their tone shift, what stories they repeat, what subjects cause them to tense or smile uncontrollably. You listen to the way they speak about others, the insults that cut too deep, the praise that comes too easily. These are signals. Everyone reveals themselves if you give them enough space and the right conditions. That's why you combine this with your earlier moves. Control the pace. Ask strategic questions. Disarm with kindness. You don't break through the front gate, you walk in through the side door they left unlocked. Once you know the weakness, you don't always strike it immediately. Sometimes the most powerful move is to simply hold that knowledge. Because a weakness you act on is spent. A weakness you keep is leverage. Leverage that grows more valuable over time. Think about it. An enemy you could crush today might be more useful tomorrow if he owes you, or fears you, or needs you. The weakness becomes a string tied to his actions. And as long as you hold that string, you can pull it whenever you need. But here's the other side of this equation. If you can find theirs, they can find yours. That's why part of this move is not just hunting for cracks. It's sealing your own. This is where most fail. They learn the art of exposing others but never learn to guard themselves. You must practice emotional discipline so no one can read you. You must cut away habits that reveal dependency. You must make your life a fortress with false doors, places where you appear vulnerable but are actually in control. Let them think they've found your weakness. Feed it to them. Make them believe they can manipulate you until the moment they realize you've been using their perception against them. This is the highest level of psychological warfare, making the other side believe they've won while they're still playing on your board. In politics, in business, in personal rivalries, the man who knows the weakness wins before the conflict even begins. Not because he's stronger, but because he's already holding the key to the other man's collapse. And here's the part most people will never understand. This isn't cruelty. This is survival. We live in a world where power respects only power. And the more dangerous the arena you play in, the more critical it becomes to know exactly where to apply pressure, and exactly when. From this moment forward, you do not look at people the way you used to. You will stop hearing only what they say. You will start hearing why they say it. You will stop seeing what they show. You will start seeing what they hide. Every man is a puzzle. And once you learn the skill of finding the missing piece, you will never lose another game. Comment this if you understand. I find the crack in every fortress. Number 7, build a reputation for precision. Fear doesn't come from how loud you roar. It comes from how rarely you miss. The loud man is dangerous only until someone calls his bluff. The erratic man is exciting only until his chaos becomes predictable. But the precise man terrifies quietly, because precision means inevitability. It means every time you move, something happens, something deliberate, something exact, something that makes the other person realize you never waste a step. Precision is a weapon of reputation. When people know you as the man who always follows through, who never swings without hitting the target, they start playing around you instead of against you. They second-guess their moves before they make them. They self-limit. You win games without lifting a finger because the image of your precision lives rent-free in their mind. But here's the truth no one tells you. Precision is built in the shadows, not in the spotlight. It's the discipline to plan moves 3 layers deep before making the first one. It's knowing exactly why you're saying something, exactly why you're waiting, exactly why you're leaving the table early. There is no accident in the precise man's life, only execution. This means no wasted words. Every sentence you speak should either advance your position, test the other side, or plant an idea that will bloom later. If it doesn't do one of those 3 things, it stays in your head. It means no wasted actions. You don't show up to a meeting to see what happens. You show up knowing the outcome you want and exactly how you'll maneuver to get it. You don't post online without a purpose. You don't shake a hand without knowing why that connection matters. The effect is cumulative. At first, people won't notice. Then, they'll start seeing a pattern. Everything you do seems to lead somewhere. Every time you get involved, things happen. That's when your reputation starts to solidify. And when it does, your influence multiplies without you even trying. Here's the Machiavellian twist. Once people believe you are precise, you don't always have to be. The idea of your precision becomes a deterrent in itself. They will hesitate, delay, overthink, all because they assume you've already calculated their move before they've made it. And while they're tangled in their own paranoia, you're free to move unopposed. But there's a flip side. Precision demands restraint. The undisciplined man burns his reputation by chasing every opportunity. The precise man chooses only the ones that serve his end game. This is why you must train yourself to walk away from situations that don't fit your strategy, even if they look tempting. Precision isn't just hitting the target, it's choosing the right target. And understand this, precision also means cutting ruthlessly. If a plan no longer serves you, you drop it. If an alliance turns toxic, you sever it cleanly. If an investment of time or energy isn't producing results, you kill it without hesitation. Precision has no room for sentimentality. Think of legendary figures, the ones who seemed untouchable. They weren't moving constantly, they were moving correctly. And when they did strike, it was with such accuracy that it created shockwaves far beyond the immediate result. That is the standard. From now on, you don't make moves hoping they work. You make moves knowing they will. And if you're not sure, you wait. Because the man who strikes at the right time with the right force leaves a scar no one forgets. Comment this to lock it in. Every move I make is deliberate. Number 8. Leverage information as currency. Gold can be spent once. Information can be spent forever. Powerful men understand this truth. The most valuable asset you will ever own is not money, status, or strength. It is information. Knowledge of what others want, what they fear, what they've done, what they plan to do. Information is leverage, and leverage is currency in its purest form. The difference between money and information is simple. When you spend money, you lose it. When you spend information, you can often keep it, and even make it worth more. This is why the sharpest operators don't speak to be heard. They speak to be told. Every conversation is a transaction. Every interaction is an opportunity to collect data that others don't even realize they're giving away. But here's the key. You never reveal how much you know. The man who shows his entire hand has no cards left to play. Instead, you hold back. You reveal information selectively, enough to prove you're worth listening to, never enough to give away the full picture. Sometimes, you trade it for loyalty. Other times, you leak it to shift public opinion or destabilize an opponent. Sometimes, you simply hold it as insurance, a silent threat that ensures you're never crossed. Information can also be a weapon without you lifting a finger. A single fact placed in the right ear can trigger a chain reaction of doubt, mistrust, and chaos that benefits you without anyone tracing it back. In politics, business, or personal rivalries, the man who controls the flow of information controls the battlefield. But understand, this requires discipline. You can't treat every piece of intel as if it needs immediate action. Many times, the real power comes from sitting on it, letting it ripen, and waiting for the perfect moment to drop it. Information has seasons. Release it too early, and it's useless. Release it too late, and it's forgotten. But release it at the exact right moment, and it changes the game instantly. The other side of this strategy is defense. If you value information as currency, you must protect your own with the same vigilance you guard your bank accounts. Tighter, in fact. The fewer people who truly know your plans, your finances, your connections, your weaknesses, the harder it is to be moved off your position. Most people give away too much for free. They overshare, they vent, they try to impress by talking about their accomplishments or future moves. That is amateur behavior. A professional never hands over leverage voluntarily. From now on, you treat information as gold bars locked in a vault. You collect it quietly. You spend it rarely. You protect it relentlessly. And when you do choose to use it, you make sure the impact is permanent. Remember this: wars have been won without armies, fortunes made without capital, empires built without land, all because someone had information others didn't, and knew exactly when to use it. Comment this now to mark it in your mind. I trade in information, not favors. Number 9. Operate in layers. The simplest man is the easiest to destroy. The layered man is never touched. If they can see all of you, they can plan for all of you. If they understand your intentions, they can block them. That is why you must never operate on a single level. You build layers, visible, hidden, and untouchable. Your visible layer is the one they think they understand. It's the image, the persona, the obvious moves. This is the bait. It gives them something to focus on while your real work happens in the shadows. Most people are too busy reacting to your visible layer to even consider there's more beneath it. Your hidden layer is where your true plays are made. This is the layer where your alliances form, your real goals take shape, and your timing is set. It is protected by misdirection, decoys, false trails, partial truths. People may suspect there's more, but they can't prove it. That uncertainty keeps them hesitant. Then there's your untouchable layer. This is the core, the long game no one even knows exists. This is the part of you that cannot be manipulated because no one has access to it. It might be a private objective, a personal philosophy, or a deeper plan that plays out over years. It's the reason you can lose a battle without losing the war, because the war they think you're fighting isn't the real one. Operating in layers creates an asymmetry of awareness. They think they know what's happening. They think they see the whole board, but they're only looking at the first layer while you're making moves 3 levels below. This is how master strategists win without appearing to be in the fight. It's how they appear lucky, because every outcome seems to work in their favor. In truth, it's not luck. It's preparation hidden behind a mask. The beauty of layers is that you can sacrifice one without harm. You can let someone expose your visible layer, thinking they've scored a victory, while your real objectives remain untouched. From this point forward, you will no longer be one-dimensional. You will live, act, and move in layers. The man they think you are is just the surface. The man you really are, they will never fully see. Comment this to engrave it in your mind. They'll never see my deepest game. Number 10, control access to yourself. If they can reach you anytime, they'll never value you. Scarcity creates power. Scarcity makes kings. The man who is always available, always answering, always saying yes, bleeds out his value with every interaction. Familiarity may breed comfort for them, but for you it breeds weakness. In the psychology of influence, you are not simply a man, you are a resource, and the rarer the resource, the higher the demand. That means controlling access to yourself is not arrogance, it's strategic positioning. You decide who gets your time, when they get it, and under what conditions. You do not jump at every request. You do not respond instantly unless you choose to. Your presence becomes an earned privilege, not a casual right. This scarcity triggers a psychological shift in others. People chase what they can't easily have. They respect what they have to work for. And when they finally do get a moment with you, they listen harder, they prepare better, and they remember longer. But here's the Machiavellian twist. Limiting access doesn't mean disappearing. It means appearing with precision. You make sure every interaction counts. When you show up, it should be memorable. When you speak, it should shift the room. This way, your absence feels like a void, and your presence feels like an event. The more important you become in their mind, the more they adjust their behavior to accommodate you. Meetings revolve around your schedule. Opportunities wait for your attention. Your name carries the silent weight of someone who cannot be summoned at will. This isn't just about ego, it's about energy management. The man who says yes to everyone eventually has nothing left for himself. The man who filters access invests his time only where the return is worth it, and that return can be power, loyalty, influence, or information. From this moment forward, you are no longer endlessly reachable. You are not a constant stream. You are a controlled, rare release. Let them feel your absence so your presence will strike twice as hard. And when they finally do get access, make them remember why it's so rare. Comment this now to claim it. My presence is earned, not given. Seal the transformation. You've just been handed a blueprint. 10 moves, 10 weapons, 10 ways to become untouchable. Understand this. These are not tricks. They are not party games. They are principles that, once absorbed, change the way you operate for the rest of your life. If you use them without discipline, they'll destroy you. If you use them with precision, they'll make you untouchable. You've learned to control the pace, to shape the first seconds, to ask questions that cut to the bone, to read the emotional battlefield without being pulled into it. You've learned to hide the blade behind kindness, to find the weakness in every man, to build a reputation so exact that even your silence has weight. You've learned to trade in information, to operate in layers, and to make your presence a rare, valuable currency. This is the architecture of influence. It doesn't matter whether you're walking into a boardroom, a negotiation, or a personal conflict. These moves put you in control before the first word is spoken. But remember, the most dangerous man is the one who doesn't need to show his power to prove it. These moves aren't for display. They are for results. From this point forward, every interaction you have is an opportunity to sharpen them, test them, refine them, until they stop being tactics and become who you are. Write this in the comments right now if you're serious about this transformation. I move with calculated power, not for me, for you, to commit it, to make it real. And if you want more, if you want the deeper layers, the darker psychology, the silent weapons no one talks about, then stay in this circle. Like this video, subscribe, turn on notifications, because precision means nothing without consistency. This is Psygorithm. You've just leveled up. Now the real game begins.